everybody, welcome to another episode of What a Hell of a Way to Dad. It's Francis and Nate back at you once again. It's September. Nate, we are finally in a time when I'm not melting outside anymore. Something I do appreciate about the weather that I get here in St. Louis is that I'm always tired of it and ready for the next thing. So I'm tired of the heat, I'm ready for the cool, and eventually I will be tired of the cool and ready for the heat again. It will be a perpetuating cycle until it's all heat and it's the heat death of the world and we all bake alive. But we've got at least like 5-6 more years for that, so we're good. So we got plenty of podcasting to do before that. How are you doing?
I'm all right. My daughter is in daycare full time. It's wonderful, and she had her first bout of catching something, and over the weekend she was sneezing and blowing snot rockets, but she was fine. She didn't seem particularly bothered, maybe a little grouchier than normal, but it was totally fine. She's fine now. A little bit of a cough, but she's good. I brought her in on Monday. I noticed 4 other kids in her class had runny noses. Came in to pick her up on Friday. Another kid had a runny nose on top of her. And then I got a runny nose. And now I woke up this morning at 4:30 hacking up a lung, feeling like shit. I am sick. I am very sick. I actually am going to go downstairs to the pharmacy and see if I can get a COVID test because I think it might be that, but I don't know. I haven't had like confirmed COVID since 2022, so we'll see. The thing that makes me think it might be is, I mean, obviously the respiratory symptoms seem similar, the speed with which it came on. And also like I had a Pepsi and I had some coffee also, and like they both tasted just a little weird. Not like no flavor, but when I had COVID before, that was one of the symptoms for me, was stuff just tasted weird. Like I'd make a coffee and it just tasted off. It tasted like weirdly acidic, but there was no change to like the coffee I was using. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I think it might be that. So not that it's necessarily they're gonna like do anything about it, but I still, it's like, well, if it is, then it's like I should probably take the test. You know, I don't fucking know what you're supposed to do anymore. Like in Britain, there's no guidance at all. Like if anything in America, they're like, oh, we're just not going to give the shots anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, you notionally live in a country that still kind of gives a shit about these things. Like here, it's just, go fuck yourself. But I would hope that in Europe, somebody would say, well, we got something.
No, I think that there's 0 European governments that want to enforce anything, just like anywhere else in America. A lot of people lost their shit about having to wear masks. A lot of people went like hardcore anti-vax. Anti-vax stuff is actually more common in Europe, I'd say, than people realize. And America requires immunizations to be enrolled in public schools. That is not the case in Europe. It's typically just more of like you do it because it's a good idea, and it's sort of like, kind of peer pressure and such. But it's not. A lot of people in Britain really can't wrap their heads around that fact when dealing with American stuff that we did. I mean, who knows if they're going to keep doing it. So I don't know. I mean, like I had the only people that I ever see wearing masks here, for example, are like really old people. And this is going to sound dickish, but it's true. Some American tourists. Other than that, no one ever does. Like and I don't think they aren't doing lockdowns. They aren't doing any like mandatory stay at home shit if you have COVID. So I don't even know if they might not even sell the tests at the pharmacy. I have no idea. But I'm like, well, I might as well check just because if nothing else, it's like if I do it comes up positive, then I'll like avoid shit. And then also if it gets worse, then I know what it is when I go to the fucking ER or whatever. But hopefully it doesn't come to that.
They don't have to spend 15 minutes testing you. Be like, no, I already have COVID. Please stop me from dying. Give me the ivermectin.
I guess that's a good point. Because when my daughter was really sick, that they did a virology swab and they tested her for influenza, COVID, and RSV, and then she turned out she had RSV. So I don't know.
It could look the children's care areas are entire petri dishes. Like it could be COVID. It could be something
anything,
that
man, honestly
we don't have a name for. Who knows? Like it could have like mutated 5 times in between 7 kids.
It is so funny though. Like going in because I had to spend the week that she was doing phasing in. I was there a lot, like I'd stay with her for a couple hours. One day I stayed with her through nap time, and then like I left before nap time. And the last day I think I brought her in just like a half day, but I had to spend a lot of time in her group of 1 to 2 year olds, and walking into a room of children between the ages of 1 and 2, but like none of them are close to 3. Like they're all, if they're 2, they just turned 2 recently. It's like walking into a room with like 12 baby owls who all notice you at the same time. And they just, everywhere you go, their heads are on swivels, just following you.
Who's that guy? That's a new shape. That's some new colors.
Yeah.
I don't recognize those blobs. Who's that?
They're very funny. And you start to see so many different personalities for kids. Because I mean, I've spent time around friends, kids, and my daughter, and people I like, but a couple of friends here, but like not a large group. from such a large, drawing from so many different like backgrounds and stuff. And it's just very funny because you just see so many different like personality traits in the kids already. And also it's very funny seeing my daughter, who is extremely well behaved and apparently somewhat reserved and doesn't necessarily talk a ton. And she's very like observant, very kind of chill. And then she comes home and she's like, I'm throwing everything and I'm yelling and I'm running her like she saves it all up for when she gets home.
Yeah, you're gonna notice that with kids, because it was the same thing with mine. Is that they do try very hard to do the right thing, because they know it's like I'm supposed to act a certain way when I'm around other kids and when I'm around teachers and everything. And then when I get home, this is my safe place to yell and scream and be angry about shit. So, it's good. It's good that she comes home and she's mad about stuff in your house and not mad about stuff everywhere else she is. Because at least it's like, it's embarrassing, but just for us here in the house.
Yeah, I mean, things that she gets mad about. She has this little like wooden toy ramp thing, and she really likes, you put little toy cars in and they go do, 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 and they kind of like a Rube Goldberg kind of thing, but it's all like motor skills for children her age kind of toy. She likes playing with that, but what she really likes is not playing with the cars, but rather just taking the ramp and just sliding it around the floor, just walking all over the house, sliding the ramp. And then when she gets tired, she starts picking it up and banging it on the floor. And we're like, okay, you're done for the night. We're going to put it up. And she knows where we keep it now. And so she just comes up and stands in front of it and starts yelling ramp. And it's like, okay, you can have 30 minutes of ramp. Okay.
Get out her little tech deck skateboard and start doing. Hey, it's good that we have kids today that are really into simple machines, though. She wants ramp, she wants fulcrum, she wants incline plane. I guess that is the ramp. All the little things. She needs a pulley. She wants all the simple machines. She wants the Da Vinci Code here.
Yeah, she also came into the kitchen on Saturday and just started yelling soup. We didn't have any soup, so I was like, I guess I got to make soup tonight. And I was like, well, we don't have any right now, so I'll make it for dinner. But I have to go to the grocery store. Like, do you want like some yogurt? And she just yells like, no, Papa, push, soup. And push is like her word for like get moved, do something, like go. Four word sentences already. She's not even two. I mean, she'll be two this week, but you know what I mean? Like, yeah, she said she loves no push. She loves saying go sleep. She loves pushing me down, saying go sleep. She's recognized there's a picture of a baby sleeping on the like baby wipes packet that's on the table. So she always says either in English or French, baby sleeping, baby go sleep. No. Also, she's got a new power up word. Instead of saying no, when you ask her, do you want this or that? She'll say both. Which of you, do you want your green toothbrush or your red toothbrush? Both. So it's every day is a new powering up. She's learned how to jump too. I see her jumping all the time now, practicing jumping, but she can get both feet off the ground.
There you go. Yeah, mine had a sometime until 2. Jump was just doing the kind of crouching down and flinging your body up. It doesn't actually mean that you get to get your feet off the ground.
Yeah, she barely gets 1 foot's off the ground pretty clearly. The other one is barely off, but like it is actually jumping. But there was, when I picked her up the other night, there were a couple of kids left when I came at 6 o'clock, and one of them was a little boy that she spends time with who seems to be full on climbing mode, although I think he's younger than her. And I watch him, he can jump to then climb on bookshelves and things like that. So I'm like, just talk to him. He can help your climbing technique quite a bit. You know what I mean?
He can help your ups.
Yeah.
Is that really something that you want the kid to be learning?
No, I don't. But it's like, but I know that jumping is like a developmental thing. So it's like, sort of like one of the things they look for around this age. I mean, Cynthia found this thing that was like it was for the NHS, but obviously it was in English, but it was like a guide, like a checklist of like, is your child doing these things by almost, as they're approaching age 2. And in my daughter's case, all of them. I mean, like they were saying like 2-word sentences, and she's not, loquacious. I think 4-word sentences are probably the most that she's done.
She's communicating with multiple words though. Yeah.
But this morning she was just yelling. I was holding her and she was just calling off all the names of the colors she'd memorized. And she was saying blue, purple, black, brown, white, pink. Like I was amazed. I was like, wow, you've really, like, there's no reason for you to just start yelling all the colors, but you have memorized them.
Right. Just showing off, It's like my kid at this age with 10 and all the Pokemon. It's going to get worse, but it is cute at this age when it's like, you do know all of your colors. It's great.
I remember when I was like 7 or 8, I was at karate lessons, or afterwards I was changing in the locker room. And one of the older kids was like, basically being like, hi, you're a little kid, I'm gonna be a dick to you. He's probably like not much older than me, like maybe 10, and I was 8. He's like, how high can you count in English? And I was just like, remember, this is in Germany. So he asked me this in German. And I was like, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just kept going. I got to like 80 before he's like, okay, you're American. I get it. Sorry. Like he didn't realize. And I was
sorry, I'll stop trying to push you around. You probably have a gun. My bad.
This is pre that. I mean, not really, but less of it being a thing, you know?
Right.
It's 33 years ago, so it was quite a while ago.
I remember there being a news story about some like St. Louisans, I think it was in like Pittsburgh, like getting mugged, and then the guy finding out they're from St. Louis and leaving them alone because he's like, I don't know what's going to actually happen here.
Yeah, they might pull out a fucked up sandwich and just start making that thing bark.
They're gonna feed me the worst pizza in my entire life. They're gonna feed me cheese that's gonna stop me up for 3 days. Can't fuck around with them St. Louisans. We have no taste for whether that be like physically or spiritually. So I want to ask you, Nate. There's been a lot of stuff in the news, and I don't ask you this because you're a Midwesterner, because this is everywhere, but I ask this because you spent a lot of time on military bases. How many Cracker Barrels did you go to when you were a kid? Did you do a lot of Cracker Barreling? Because those are outside of every military base.
I remember going to one, like driving to Florida with friends when I was like 13. I think that was the first time I ever went to one. And then obviously around military bases, like I went like oftentimes to when I was in the captain's career course or in the Q course, I had, was around a lot of guys, friends of mine who were also captains. And like, if we went like to Atlanta or Savannah or Charleston on a weekend, like if we stopped on a rest stop or stopped on a highway stop, we'd typically go to Cracker Barrel. So I've been to them. I know the little stupid game with the what is it? The golf, the golf tees.
Golf tees.
Yeah. And all the sort of hokey country shit and like hard rock candy and, whatever, like Pappy Banjo shit. I mean, whatever. It's, it's some of that is, I mean, obviously it's a big corporate chain, so it's all for effect, but it's like, it's funny because you find that stuff and find it like cloying and goofy, but then like try going to an American themed bar or restaurant in Europe and you'll see like an incoherent mixture of Americana that makes Cracker Barrel seem completely curated.
I mean, I do believe Cracker Barrel is mostly curated. I do want to see, I am curious to see what the goofy shit on the walls of an American themed like Swiss restaurant would be. Like because we have multiple restaurants here. We have the Cracker Barrel that does that. Obviously TGI Fridays. Longhorn Steakhouse always has like weird cowboy shit on the walls. But I have to point out that Cracker Barrel was created by a Shell Oil representative, like a guy who is like, I need to sell gas to people who are driving down the highway. How do I do that? I know, I'll hit him in the nostalgia bone with an old timey store and a restaurant and a gas station. So like all of those Casey's that you see out there, this is just the next step, the next evolution. Casey's gas station, for those of you unaware, is like the main gas station of rural America. And it is kind of like half gas station, half restaurant, in that you can buy pizza and chicken there, usually like fried chicken.
Yeah, if it's a big truck stop, they'll have coin operated showers and stuff, and they sell little
when you hit your Buc-ee's and stuff like that. There's various tiers, and Cracker Barrel has gotten rid of the gas and is just full on restaurant and country store.
Because it's not, I mean, it's something that came out of the 90s, right? Because I mean, I just don't recall them being a thing when I was really young, but maybe I was
the 60s.
60s.
They've
wow.
been around. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, maybe they weren't as big in the 90s. They have like 600.
I remember seeing them in the 90s, but I mean, I was really young. We did a lot of road tripping in the 80s because we moved a ton. Like my dad got sent to Panama for a while, and my mom took me and my brother to stay with family in Washington. So we drove from California to Washington. And then when my dad got back from Panama, he got stationed at the Naval War College in Newport, Rhode Island. And we drove from the Bay Area to Rhode Island on like a big long drive across America road trip.
Ooh.
I was really
How long did that take?
Oh, like 2 weeks, man. I mean, it took forever. I think we went up.
Well, if you take that time though, like if you take the time, it's probably
we went up to Washington again because my parents had some good friends up there, and so we went up to Tacoma, and then we drove across, eastern Washington, Idaho, Wyoming, North Dakota, South Dakota.
Oh, you want the boring way.
Yeah, Iowa, down, I want to say, to St. Louis, Memphis, and then down towards Atlanta, and then towards Charlotte because my grandparents lived there, and then back up from Charlotte up the eastern seaboard, probably up 95, all the way up to Providence, Pawtucket, and then off to fucking Newport Island. Apparently, I lived like 2 miles from my future wife at the time, but we didn't know each other because she would have been 9 and I would have been 5, so we weren't in the same classes.
No, she wouldn't have had anything to do. I have the same. My wife's 5 years older than me, and it's like you wouldn't have had anything to do with me when you were 20 and I was 15, which is probably for the best.
It's not really a big thing now, but it is funny when talking about like entertainment, nostalgia, music, movies, etc. From specifically the early to mid 90s, that's when I feel like our age difference is the most pronounced, because she was engaging with this stuff as like a young teenager or like a mid teenager, a high schooler, and I was engaging with this as like a preteen. Like she when she graduated from high school, I was 13, almost 14. I was about to start 8th grade. So obviously the age difference there, like in how we engage, like she, Can't Hardly Wait was like the big high school graduation movie the year she graduated from high school. Whereas for me, I was like, oh, that's a cool movie. It's got Eve 6 in it. I love Eve 6. I can't wait till I graduate from 8th grade in 1999 next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, but thinking about bringing it back to road trip shit, I want to say that the only times I can remember seeing it was like once we moved to the Midwest, because we drove when we moved back from Germany, we drove from New Mexico to Indiana after we left New Mexico, and we drove around quite a bit. I mean, I don't think if there were Cracker Barrels in New Mexico, I really don't remember them. But yeah, I want to say like going in 7th grade, going on a spring break with my friend, we stopped at one and I was like, oh, this is cool. The chicken pot pie is pretty good. They've got this stupid little golf tee game. Everything's like all country and shit.
There's goofy shit on the walls. There's a toy store. Like it kind of rules.
Yeah.
Like as a little stop. My wife has bought dresses from there. Like if you really want to do like if you're one of those like I really want to do the trad wife thing, but I don't want to spend $300 in Anthropology or whatever for it. Cracker Barrel, man, you can get a nice dress for like $50.
I love the idea that Anthropology is the secret trad wife brand.
Is it? That's the only like expensive clothing brand that I can think of.
I don't know. I just remember the Anthropology store was really close to my office when I worked in New York. So I just remember seeing like, it doesn't really strike me as the trad wife store, but you never know. Maybe those floral pattern dresses and shit, maybe that's actually like secret, like Mennonite, Christian nationalist or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Look, I mean, they're just selling what people are going to buy. I've spent a lot of time at Cracker Barrel. It is one of our favorite road trip stops, like usually when we're going on a road trip, because there's no Cracker Barrels inside of a major city. They're all on the outside. And when the stupid controversy blew up, I saw a lot of people from LA that were talking about it, but there's not an LA Cracker Barrel. So like 7 to 10 million people there just don't know what a Cracker Barrel is.
Can you tell me what the fucking controversy is? I genuinely don't know. I've seen people talking about it. Okay. I thought it might be something to do with like logo redesigns and stuff, but I genuinely don't know. So are people mad that there's no longer like the old guy in fucking overalls on the logo?
They removed the cracker and the barrel, and people shit themselves. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, when I saw the Cracker Barrel redo for the logo, I also was upset about it. Not for like political reasons, but because I hate minimalism. I hate like this idea of like we had a bunch of cool shit on our flag or on our logo or whatever, like all the symbolism, and we're just going to remove it to do shapes and colors like we're a bunch of primary school kids. So they had Uncle Herschel, I think the guy's name is, leaning against a big barrel. The whole idea was the Cracker Barrel was like the old-timey water cooler where you sat around, you could play, the barrels were like table height, so you could sit and play checkers or whatever. And they changed it and made it just say Cracker Barrel. And it's like they took all of the cool, like it used to be like a weird bean shape that Cracker Barrel was in. It had this really awesome, like, when somebody does a really nice font that's made specifically for it. And they just kind of threw all that away and they're like, look, it just says Cracker Barrel now. And like I said, for me, I hate minimalist design like this. It's just, and I hate it because there's too much of it. There's like, I remember seeing Holiday Inn Express, the Holiday Inn hotel chain, change their logo to just be an H that looks like it's like just 3 lines hurriedly brushed. And they're like, look, that's our logo now. It's a big H. It says for a Holiday Inn Express. It's boring and it sucks and I hate it. So I'm mad for different reasons. I'm mad because I love Cracker Barrel, and I'm mad because they've also been redesigning the insides. They're changing all of the, kind of old-timey, this is a, grandma's kitchen kind of thing. All the tables and chairs have like a very 80s and 90s design to it. They're getting rid of those in a lot of places. They're making all the goofy goofy shit on the wall more dress right dress rather than just being kind of like slap dashed up. So it's very, they're taking away a lot of that. And conservatives for some reason are just upset about taking the white guy off, I think, because there's all this stuff about heritage. And that's why I wanted to, at the beginning of this, tell you that this was created by a Shell Oil representative in 1969. There's no heritage to this. It's a business to make money.
Right. Like, and also this kind of sounds like, I mean, what you're describing, the kind of dress right dress kind of homogenization, that sounds like some private investor, private equity shit, quite frankly. I mean, like
100%.
A lot of
like
these restaurants, you know, like they used to be, things were a lot more unique to specific brands. And it's not like I'm like, oh, the brands were better back then. But you know what I mean? Like there were certain things that were unique and a lot of that's gone away to make it more interchangeable. And I mean, I find that to be like, I don't give a fuck. Honestly, I like Cracker Barrel. I just know what it is. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, I don't care. Like, but at the end of the day, I think that it is interesting to see how stuff gets much more regimented and like top down dictated, and like every detail has to be planned out and has to be sort of in accordance with some kind of spec. That feels like a change in our lifetime, certainly. But also, like, look, man, my grandparents are from the Mississippi Delta. My grandmother's still alive. My grandfather's not. Like, they probably are old enough to remember what this sort of thing was based on in terms of that kind of style of thing. And maybe not. Maybe like their parents did around, you know, the fucking turn of the century. I don't know. But nobody in America, aside from like very, 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 very small groups of people, have any actual recollection of the sort of heritage, you know, in scare quotes, capital H, that this was based on. It's just selling kind of like yuck Americana to people because they have no point of reference for it. Like,
well, I think heritage is just turned into, I remember this from when I was a kid. Like there isn't actually any, this is a important piece of like what makes America.
Fucking, why did you step on my goddamn heritage by taking away the McDonald's stirrers? Because people were using them to do coke off them, but they were really good for stirring shit too, and they lasted forever. You could take it home and you could stir it. You know, they were great. I loved the little McDonald's stirrers. I'm not a coke user. I just liked having a thing that I could keep and I could stir it. And if you wanted to like fix shit, like you need like, I remember doing little model things when I was a little kid. It was perfect for like mixing up epoxy glue to put stuff on. You know what I mean? But they got rid of it because the McDonald's didn't want to be associated with the cocaine. You know, so it's like that's my heritage.
I like my McDonald's stirrers and I like my singular rose from the gas station for completely different reasons, not drug reasons.
Singular rose from the gas station.
Oh, do you not know about that? You buy the one rose from the gas station. It's got the glass like water holder in the bottom, and that's what you smoke crack out of.
Oh, right. Okay. I know the thing when it becomes the thing you smoke crack. I've seen people smoke crack out of those things before because
you haven't seen the buying the rose at the gas station part.
No. Well, I mean, there's not a lot of. I mean, there are gas stations in New York City, but they're not necessarily as ubiquitous. And everywhere that I ever saw people smoking crack was in New York.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I never saw that. I mean, like I remember, like they stepped on our heritage by taking away yellow jackets and all the other trucker pills. You know, they took away our heritage by, I don't know, Sudafed doesn't get you fucked up anymore. You can't actually get good cold medicine anymore.
Yeah, you got to show your ID.
Like I wasn't going to make methamphetamine with it. I just wanted something that would actually get rid of these stupid symptoms. Yeah, like
when you do need to buy the meth cold medicine, it's always like you walk in, it's like, can I sneeze on you? Can I cough on you? So you know I'm not going to make meth, that you know I'm sick, because I don't want you to think I don't look like a person that's going to make meth, but I just assume somebody thinks I'm going to do it.
Isn't that kind of the thing though with like a lot of stuff in America now, that like when you go into a store that would sell medicine in general, like everything is behind like a shoplifting case?
I'm not even the medicine, just like deodorant and dish soap and laundry soap and stuff like that. Yeah,
You're kidding.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, the Walgreens now, and it sucks because, you know, I want brick and mortar stores. I want to be able to say, oh, I forgot to get this, I need to drive out and go and pick it up. But I'm also not going to do that if I have to go and then flag down one of like the two overworked employees to unlock something and then stand there because they have to wait for me to be done making my selection so they can lock up the deodorant again. It has got like our local grocery store has gotten that way. We don't like using it. Look, I don't know, shit gets stolen, I guess, but and I've definitely seen it happen at our grocery store quite often. But also, I don't want to shop there now because everything is inconvenient and I don't want to have to talk to somebody. Like I go to the grocery store, I've usually like, I'm putting my earbuds in and I'm hitting the vape in the parking lot so that I can fucking deal with it. I don't want to have to like suddenly flag down people so I can get some hamburger helper, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's just not really a thing. I saw it a little bit in Britain with like, if you wanted to buy medicine, like there are a lot of self-checkouts. That's really common in everywhere in Britain, right? But if you want to buy alcohol, you want to buy medicine, like over-the-counter medicine, you want to buy stuff that's got anti-theft things on it, you had to go to the counter. So like if I wanted to buy ibuprofen or baby formula, for example, there would be an anti-theft device on it. Sometimes it was like a locked thing, you know, like they have to remove whatever, but there weren't like cases. I'm sure there are places in Britain that have this, but they're not to the same extent. And I haven't been back to America since, well, I didn't see this. I didn't go into a Walgreens in 2023 when I was there last, but I've heard these stories about that like, it's really annoying. And it's just weird to me too, because it's like,
it depends on the Walgreens. Like if you were at one in Bloomington, Indiana, I think it wouldn't have been that way because Bloomington's a little.
Are you? Nah, man. Bloomington's got some fucking some wild ass. Like Bloomington's got some parts of it that aren't college students and university faculty. Like not it's like the hood. Not that it's dangerous. It's just it's actually a really poor city. It just happens to have a big magnet university there. So like you go to like the areas around State Road 37, like where the big Walmart is in Bloomington. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that's the kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like well, I guess that's the far west side of the city. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's just interesting because it's not really a thing here. I mean, like a lot of the stuff you're describing is not really. I'm spoiled now. I'm completely. I have no perspective anymore. I'd be like, yeah, I'll just because like me, I have to go get some medicine. I'm gonna walk downstairs and there's like 3 pharmacies downstairs. Like I realized it the other day. I'm like, yeah, I walk like 2.5-3 miles every day, just like running errands and taking my kid to daycare because like I don't have a car. I don't need it. If I had a car, it would be longer because getting the car out of the garage and then getting her in the car and then driving the like 10-minute walk distance, like half a kilometer, maybe 1 kilometer from here to the nursery, and then finding a place to park, getting her out of the car, getting her there, getting in the car, driving back. It would literally take longer than walking. So yeah. It's nice.
See, and that's the thing. We lock up all of our deodorant, but also the neat thing is we don't have good public transportation or infrastructure. So you're fucked in any way.
Well, this happened to me one time in Britain because my daughter was her when she was still like drinking, milk, formula, stuff like that. They were running low at her daycare. And there was a little up like the street from where her daycare was. And so I dropped her off and they mentioned to me, I was like, yeah, I'll just go up there. They sell it. I can get a big tin of what was it? It was like Kendamil or Aptamil. I can't remember what it was. Anyway, I think it was Aptamil. So I went up there and it was only self-checkout. Like there wasn't anybody actually working at the checkout thing. So it was like 8:30 in the morning. So I got the tin of formula and I had the like anti-theft thing on it. And I brought it to self-checkout and then pressed the button of like, hey, can someone come help me? Because I can't get the anti-theft thing off. And a woman comes and she can't get it off either. And then she has to take it and go ask for help. And then the very dismissive, rude manager comes out. She's like, why are you basically talking to the employee like she's an idiot? But then she can't get it off either. So then she has to take it back and put it back and get another one. And I was like, so we are so hung up on the idea that we have to prevent people from stealing baby formula that what the solution is put all the baby formula in jail and no one can have it. And it's like, yeah, man, that definitely, I mean, when you think that's one of the things that people are probably going to steal because it's a lot of money. And it's like, yeah, it's like,
and you need
it one way or the other. If your baby's, not breastfeeding or whatever, then or you're combo feeding, then it's a thing you need. And it's, I can't remember how much it costs because it's been so long, but I remember it being pretty expensive. It's way less expensive in Britain than in America, according to friends of ours who had kids about the same age, but it was still pretty expensive. I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whenever I see large scale theft happening at the grocery store, it is usually diapers and baby formula and paper towels and toilet paper, all those things that are all those things that really everybody should just be given. I know that in the 90s, there's the jokes about the government cheese, right? You would get government assistance and you'd get free food that way. But there should really be also here's the shit that you need to keep your house somewhat clean and keep your ass somewhat clean and keep, but and that's what, you see people steal things that people need. And that just makes it that's my whole this is none of my business to tell anybody about you, because fuck, I have raised a kid. I know how expensive it is, and I know how expensive everything else is right now. So it is what it is.
Because in Britain they definitely try to recover shoplifting by having security guards and chasing shoplifters, whereas obviously in America they don't, for a million reasons, because
it's just
it's risk, insurance, guns, problems. Whereas I've seen the theft prevention people beat people's asses for suspected shoplifting in Britain. Like, it's so different than America. And that to me, I'm like, man, you're not making more than £9 an hour. What on fucking earth is going to make you sprint down the high street to do like a Liu Kang kick to try to fucking get a loaf of bread from a dude that you can't even put back on the goddamn shelf? Like, that's like, this is sub Les Miserables tier. Like, this is embarrassing. But like, you see this all the time, and it's like, you know, like the private security guy working in like Asda with like a fucking stab vest, like, you know, basically like roughing people up. They locked us all in a store and basically roughed a dude up because they thought he had stolen like those, like, you know, buy off the shelf prescription glasses. And he's like, my bad, I put them in my bag, but I hadn't even gone to the checkout yet. They locked us in the fucking store while the security guard beat this guy's ass. They called the cops, and people were filming, and they're like, "What the like? Can we go? Can we leave, please?" Yeah, man.
Done. Did we all need to witness this? Like, is this part of the learning that we're doing here?
Aldi, I think. Yeah, I that was early on when I first moved to Britain, and then like, man,
my Aldi definitely has a security guard, but he is constantly like on his phone and is grossly overweight, so I'm not too concerned about getting my ass kicked by him.
My barber said he saw a guy from Iceland, the grocery store, British grocery store, Iceland. He saw a guy from Iceland chasing a shoplifter and do like a running tackle on the guy. And he said the guy had like a bag, like he had like Hovis, which is like cheap sandwich bread. And it's like, man, if you fuck your shoulder up doing that, like you got to wait in line a goddamn 24-hour wait time at the A&E just like anybody else. It's not like Iceland's gonna put you in a private hospital to get your stuff fixed. You know what I mean? So yeah, that kind of thing with the I don't know what it is, man. Like, there are security guards in some stores here. There are security guards in the malls here periodically. Sometimes they're armed. The cops are armed because like guns are a thing here. I've never had it seem shady or unsafe. Like, I've never seen anyone carrying a gun here that wasn't in uniform. Like, I don't think I don't know what the rules are. I'm not really interested in learning because I don't care. But it is very funny because this is like percentage wise one of the most, statistically speaking, one of the like most gun having countries on the planet. But you absolutely would never know it.
Sure. They're smart. You lock them up and you don't have this weird obsession with everybody. At any point in time, I might need to shoot somebody to death. So therefore, I need to make sure that I have a gun on me at all times. It's at least a bit of a healthier outlook on on gun ownership, I think. And that healthy ownership is keep that shit locked up, and also ammunition is impossible to find.
Well, I think that the reason why the high gun ownership rate thing is that you're given an option when you finish your military service, after you're done with being a reservist, to buy your service rifle. And a lot of people do. But yeah, like, I don't know what the rules are about like how often you have to qualify, if there are rules once you're out of the military. I know that there's like signs all over for like, the schedules for like people who have to do their reservist duty, like have to do like scheduled like qualification and stuff like that. But I don't know, man, like hearing a lot of these stories about this stuff, a part of me kind of feels like I sort of dodged a bullet. And another part of me is sort of like, man, I must sound like a complete asshole when I talk about what my daily life sounds like, because everything must sound like the goddamn fucking flying cars future utopia meme. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to sound like completely unself-aware. It is,
like, look, as an American, a lot of these things are just so insanely foreign. Like the idea that that you could just walk to your daycare, that you can, like, I have a grocery store, I have a bodega I can walk to. I have like a semi-walkable neighborhood. I have a lot of vape stores suddenly.
I walked to daycare for my daughter in London too, but it was a much more annoying walk with a lot more traffic crossings and, twisty turny roads and stuff. This one, because this neighborhood's kind of like, a lot of the apartment buildings look like they've been built in the last 10 years. The daycare looks not brand new, but like relatively new. I think a lot of this stuff was kind of purpose built. And so it's like, yeah, walking from our apartment to her daycare, I do not have to wait on any traffic lights. There's a route I can take that's just either like crosswalks or like pedestrian only paths and stuff. So yeah. I mean, hearing friends' stories about like, every morning having to strap kids into their car seats and drive to daycare, it's like,
that's one of the beautiful things about homeschooling. I wake up and I walk the dog at like between 6 and 6:30 in the morning. I'm out there and I've just woken up and I see kids waiting for the bus, like at 0:30 in the morning when it's fucking cold as shit. They're out there waiting for the bus. Kids having to go to just the fact that everything requires so much transportation to get to wherever you need to go. And like, I've been working from home for like 10 years. I have no commute at all. And I have no idea how I would cram a commute back into my schedule. So I hear you talk about things, and I do imagine, like, I know a better world is available out there. America is not ready for it yet. We've got to pull collectively pull our heads out of our asses. And that is not to say that Europeans also do not have their heads up their asses, but it's just for completely different reasons. So if we can find some place where it's just like, all right, we're not super racist against the refugees, but also my deodorant doesn't have to be in prison. What country is that?
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, like America's gotten pretty insanely racist against the refugees too. So
I mean, that's true.
Yeah, we've
always been though. Like it's always been a thing.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think for here, like obviously there are problems, but I guess it's just one of those things where I'm actually very wary of this notion because I know that there's people out there who kind of talk in almost the fantasy terms about, oh, you should just leave America. It's like, well, yeah, great, but that's not possible for most people.
No,
like if you want to do that,
leave.
It's not really a thing you can just do later in life, both because like it's gotten very hard to emigrate places, and also like, you know, if you're going to transfer, if you have professional qualifications, like chances are good they're not going to transfer. Like there are instances where this does happen, where like Brits, for example, can transfer their qualifications to Australia, and that's why like 9 out of 10 NHS doctors wind up emigrating to Australia, where they can make fucking like 5 times as much as what they make in Britain. But Americans don't have that. So also, if you're too old, you might not be able to get a visa. If you or anyone in your family has disabilities, you probably won't be allowed to emigrate because the countries just flat out will not let you in. They will not let you. Right. And we're talking like if one of your children has autism, for example, like that can be grounds to deny you visas. Like that happens all the time. People may not be aware of this, but like now we're not talking about like just like fucking fortress countries. Like we're talking like Canada does this. Like Australia, I don't know what happened in the end, but was trying to deport a South Korean family because their Australian-born children who had permanent residency in Australia but weren't Australian citizens, one of their kids had autism, and they were like, "Yeah, fuck you. You can't be a citizen. You have to go." The family was like, "He's never gone to school in Korea. He only speaks Korean at home. Like he wouldn't have like it would be so much harder for him." And also something Australians point out, they're sort of like, so what you're saying is that you would deport all of us who have autism if you could. And it's like you see, like that's pretty. Unfortunately, that's kind of the nature of the kind of like, you know, carceral border mentality. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's only getting worse. There's not really a lot of places around the world you can do it. So like when people talk about like, oh, you just need to go to Europe, it's like, where in Europe? Are you going to go to Italy or Spain where like the median rent is like, you know, 250% of median income? Are you going to go to Portugal where same problem, but also like 30% of people under 25 are unemployed? Are you going to go to Switzerland where you're very well paid? They don't have universal socialized medicine, and they also like have basically no labor protection laws here. So you can just get fired at any moment. You can get fired at no fault, no like what's the right word, like at will.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like America.
Yeah,
so Switzerland sounds more American than anything.
Well, culturally no, but yeah, in terms of
not culturally, but you got guns and you hate workers, so like we can make that work.
I don't know. There's a different culture here though about like if something doesn't work as advertised, if something doesn't work like it's supposed to, people get mad, and it's actually kind of it is actually taken seriously, as opposed to America where it's just like, it is what it is. Fuck you. If you don't like it, deal with it, or the cops will kill you. Like
you gotta stop letting the scorpion on your back, bro. Like I don't know why this is the fifth time you let it happen.
So culturally speaking, I think that actually Swiss people who visit America or live and work in America wind up being really driven bonkers by that, because they're like, wait, but why is everything always late and fucked up and falling apart and canceled and messed up and overcrowded and like, you know, completely just mistakenly done? It's like, that's a problem. It's like, yes, welcome to America.
It's a feature.
It sucks.
That's part of it.
It sucks really bad all the time. Yeah. It's like when Europeans, you know, check getting through customs coming back into America, and there's like, you know, 2-hour line for Americans and 2-hour line for you. They're like, is something wrong? And we're like, no, they're punishing us for leaving, because they're like, fuck you. Yeah. America rules. You shouldn't have left, and now you get to suffer, because that's the point of being American, is suffering. And also believing that someday maybe you can invent, you know, like the fucking, you know, AI powered dick pill that will make you a trillionaire. Other than that, you know, everything gets worse all the time.
Yeah, we've got a real American Ninja Warrior situation happening, but for paperwork and like jumping through red tape. You know, instead of monkey barring your way across a chasm of water, you have to try to fill out a document in triplicate and then find out you fucked it up and have to wait 30 days until you can do it again.
I will say that dealing with anything related to U.S. tax stuff is such a nightmare.
Oh, God,
and it was also such a nightmare too, is when you're dealing with stuff when it comes to being a foreign entity, like working with like Patreon, for example, or any paperwork I have to fill out if like a vendor, like if I get hired to do something for an American American client, the paperwork is like completely inscrutable. It basically, you have to fill out this form that seems as though it's primarily intended for like foreign banks and foreign investment trusts. And like the explanation pages on the IRS website make no sense. The form makes no sense. Like, I'm not going to pretend.
Let me tell you, Nate, nobody's checking taxes this year, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, we've already dealt, you know.
They're going to come get you in Switzerland. We've got our own, but our Gestapo hasn't done that one yet.
Do we have any Ask a Dad questions?
Yeah, we can do that. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll let Nate go take a nap, get the COVID out of his brain. Here's one that is, I think you're going to have kind of coming in as your daughter gets a little older and me with a 10-year-old. Do you have limits on screen time for yourself or for your kids? So how do you do screen time?
My daughter doesn't do anything with screens, but she's
got ramp.
She's young enough that's not really a thing. I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I try to not, but I mean everything I do for work is screens, you know, like I don't really, I guess, like, I'll put it this way. My average screen time is normally like, I mean, it's pretty high. I'm not going to pretend it's not. But if it's above, like, averaged above 4 hours in a week, that's a problem, I think. The one thing is that...
And that's screen time just on your phone,
on my phone,
right?
yeah. I don't track it on my laptop. I don't really use I have an iPad, but I don't really use it. I try to read books on my Kindle if I'm going to read ebooks because I can't get distracted and open other apps, you know what I mean? But no, I don't know, man. I think right now we're still in the age where, like, there's not really any good amount of screen time for a kid her age. I know there's going to be more things that are going to be a thing, you know, like it's going to be harder to, but for the time being, like she's only interested in phones in so much as she thinks you've left your phone out. She picks it up and gives it to you and tells you to put it away. Okay. So, cause she loves organizing things. So that for now we're good. But I think that I think once she's cognizant of how we use devices, there's going to have to be something of a rethinking of like how we do it, because I don't want her to be like, oh yeah, you know, dad's always on his phone.
Yeah. And that is an argument that, you know, we'll tell our daughter, you know, get off your phone. She's like, you guys are on your phones all the time. So, and that does make us, you know, kind of rethink how we're doing it. Because my wife is on her phone a lot because she plays a lot of games that you get stuff by playing ads. So she'll be crocheting or she'll be doing something else, and she's just like, I'm just going to let ads play. Because she subscribes to all of those games that like give you little minuscule bits of Bitcoin or, you know, gift cards or something like that. So she'll do those games. But me, like, most of my like social media screen time is while I'm at work on a computer screen and not really on a phone. Like I find Blue Sky annoying on my phone. The only time I'm using it is if I'm going to be throwing a picture up or something. I generally have other things that I'm looking at on the phone. So, but our daughter, she has like an hour of screen time that she gets to do whatever she wants with. And there's a big asterisk next to that because like there's no Roblox, there's no unmonitored YouTube or anything like that. There's, you know, none of that's happening. If she wants to watch YouTube, she comes out into the main living room and she can watch it there, which is a real pain point for me and my wife because everything she wants to watch on YouTube fucking sucks and is terrible. But like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not like
she's 10. She's going to be interested in stuff that 10-year-olds are interested in. Like that's going to be like very much the
Minecraft plays.
Right.
Like she likes to watch people who like playing Minecraft or something or talking about. She started to watch this series called Law with Mike, I think, or Law by Mike. And I looked him up, and he's not a personal injury lawyer, but he is kind of in that vein. But you know the law firm that does the Shut the Fuck Up Friday, like you know, if the cops come to you, you shut the fuck up. If they're asking you questions, you shut the fuck up. It's kind of in that same vein. Like he's got videos about like, hey, if the cops are knocking on your door, you don't have to open the door to open them up to let them in unless they have a warrant. If you have a landlord, the landlord cannot just come in whenever they want. So it's all these like videos of like your rights as a regular normal person in America, especially in a time where everything is falling apart. So like that's one of those. It's like I didn't know what you're watching, but you know I watched a couple of it and was like, that seemed like this is stuff I would tell you too. So I guess it works out.
If I'm interested in like, I might go down some deep dives about things. I think the longest things that I watch on YouTube are like how to use certain pieces of like music composition equipment or software, how to figure out certain like plugins, certain things. Like every now and again, I might watch like a sort of analysis of, you know, old movies and stuff like that. But really, I don't. I did. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That guy who does like the comedy plot overdub things about Metal Gear Solid, the one about like, you know, you check out Twitter, Raiden. He's like, God, I fucking hate this website, Raiden. It's all weeb shit. This one's calling me a Redditor. Like that that was actually genuinely brilliant. But I mean, the actual full length video is like 90 minutes long. I'm just not going to watch. I mean, like,
no, I don't have time to watch a normal movie.
Exactly. I struggle to watch 90-minute actual movies. Like, I'm not going to watch like a playthrough of Metal Gear Solid where, you know, I mean, even if it is very, very funny, don't get me wrong.
Sure. Yeah. I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube myself. I don't like TikTok. I don't like Instagram videos. I think that was my old man line in the sand was if I'm looking up something, if I need to, like, how do I do X, Y, and Z in Photoshop? I need words. I don't want to watch a 5-minute video.
And I would say too with TikTok, the smash cut element of it is so unbelievably like disorienting to me.
Jarring.
Like, it's not just the ADHD thing, it's just in general. Like, I don't like having a thing just randomly start making noise at me. And I think that being kind of like a very standard or common sort of approach to doing a TikTok is having it smash cut into something. Like, yeah, it's even if I have to watch a TikTok that's funny, the fact that then the next thing it suggests to you is immediate smash cut. Like, no, I can't handle it, man. I don't. It's not my thing. It'll never be my thing.
Yeah, and the thing that killed TikTok for me was that hitting the back button didn't stop the video. It just loaded another video, and I was like, okay, I'm done. If I cannot hit a button and make the sounds and the motion stop, then I can't be here. Like, I need to be able to pause and scan through stuff. So I'm not a big fan of any of that. And
I also just don't like the fact that all these platforms are just like, you have to like basically use baby talk words to get around from like their weird sort of fucking content censoring shit. Like the fact that like my wife was a member of a thing that was just like a really, really like good parenting group thing about like sort of, you know, useful like age appropriate approaches for like resources for sex ed. And it's like that group basically can't exist on Facebook anymore because like the automated content filtering stuff is such, there's nothing inappropriate about it, but literally even just saying sex, it's like, what are you going to write SEGGS every time that you want to fucking say sex ed for sexual education? Like the thing that is an actual thing. It's just like, man, what is going on? Did they just hit you with the Men in Black thing to turn the entire internet Mormon or something? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, kids, the internet used to be a lot more fun. It used to be a lot cooler than this. There were fewer borders, there were fewer walled gardens, and it was full. I'm not going to say it was great. It was still full of freaks and predators, but it at least wasn't like trying to like steal your data at the same time.
Well, like, going on the computer meant going to the computer and being on the computer, and then you left the computer because the computer wasn't everywhere.
The computer needs to be in a specific room. There should be a computer shrine in the house, and that's it. That's where your computer lives. And if you want to be on the holy internet, then you must go to the computer altar. Yeah,
man. I remember trying to get used like the mobile web version for the Something Awful forums on my like iPhone Gen 1, and they were completely unusable because it was like, no, sorry, forums aren't meant to be on phones. They're only meant to be on the computer when you're on the computer with your friends. Yeah, man. Well, listen, I know this is a bit of a short one. I feel like I'm about to like collapse in a coughing fit. Unfortunately, I need to figure out if whatever kind of weird ass disease I have, but it's been a pleasure speaking with you, of course.
Of course. And if you want to hear more, we obviously have the patreon.com/hellofaWayToDie. Our August raffle is done. I will be sending out some home decor to a lucky Patreon subscriber. If you're subscribed to any of the tiers, $3 up, you get automatically put in. There will be a vote for the next raffle. We're going to do this every month. Sticker packs, pins. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I'm going to let you all decide, but you got to be on the Patreon for that. So patreon.com/hellofaWayToDie. Sign up, get more stuff, get free stuff, get discount codes, get all kinds of good shit there. But until next week, Nate, I hope that come next Wednesday, you are dying a little bit less. Let's living a little bit more.
Yeah, let's hope. We'll find out. But I will talk to you later. Thank you so much for being a listener, and we will speak to you very soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.